Welcome back, each and everyone watching Mamargwa Gasabo Television. Thank you for being with us. You're going to be with me, Kamika Giste. Now let's kick off the news headlines. Rwanda to host 20th National Dialogue Conference. Rwanda-Pakistan Open Coffee Export to boost trade and economic cooperation. On the international news, heavy gunfire erupts near Niger's capital's airport. Now let's take a short break to be back on the news details. Welcome back. Let's start news in Rwanda. Rwanda is set to host the 20th National Dialogue Conference Umushyikirano from February 5th to 6th, 2026, bringing together representatives from various sectors of society, including government leaders, members of diaspora, diplomats, development partners, and the media. The conference follows the 19th edition held in January 2024, chaired by President Paul Kagame, which reviewed progress in national development and unity. Discussions at the previous forum focused on the implementation of the National Strategy for Transformation NST1, economic self-reliance, social welfare, governance, and the role of youth in shaping the country's future. Key resolutions included boosting agricultural productivity, expanding irrigation and food storage, improving rural infrastructure, promoting investment by the diaspora, enhancing access to clean water, and strengthening support for small and medium enterprises. Social priorities covered health services, vocational education, youth skills development, and sports. Moving ahead, Minister of Trade and Industry, Prudence Sewahizi, and her Pakistani counterpart, Jam Kamal Khan, on Thursday officially opened the Rwanda Coffee Expo, organized by Rwanda to promote coffee and expand economic diplomacy. The two leaders held talks in Islamabad, focusing on expanding cooperation in sectors including agro-processing, food security, textiles and rural products, healthcare, and agricultural technology. Proceeding, Transparency International Rwanda has revealed that corruption in education and health sectors is disproportionately affecting women and girls, hindering the delivery of services and undermining public trust. This, according to a study conducted by the organization and published on Thursday, January 29, 2026. Of the students surveyed, 8% of those in higher education institutions say they had paid gender-based bribes to get good grades. Another 5% say they had paid bribes to get their grades changed, while 5% of parents and students paid bribes to secure places in certain schools. Now turning to the next story, the cabinet meeting held on January 28, 2026 approved the draft law establishing the National Defense University. It is a university that will unite the existing university-level military schools in the country, namely Rwanda Military Academy located in Gako, which provides training for junior officers, and Rwanda Senior Command and Staff College located in Nyakinama, which received senior officers. The military university will train those from the rank of colonel and above, and will also be the one to award degrees to graduates of their schools. These responsibilities that were previously held by the National Defense University. Now let's take a short break to be back on the international news. Welcome back. On the international news, a burst of heavy gunfire and explosions erupted earlier today near the international airport in Niger's capital Niamey before halting within hours.
On the international news, data in Africa where heavy gunfire and explosions broke out early Thursday near Diorim Hamani International Airport in Niamey, Niger state before calm returned a few hours later. Videos shared online showed flashes of light in the sky, loud bursts, burning vehicles, and flames rising several meters high. The airport, located about 10 kilometers from the presidential palace, also hosts an air force base and the headquarters of a regional joint force fighting jihadist groups. The shooting reportedly began shortly after midnight and stopped around 2 hours later. Fire truck sirens were heard heading toward the airport, but authorities did not immediately clarify the cause of the violence or report casualties. An online activist supportive of military rule called on citizens to defend the country. Niger has been ruled by a military junta since 2023 and faces ongoing jihadist violence. Nearly 2,000 people were killed in such attacks in 2025, according to ACRED. Concluding our international news, British Prime Minister Keir Starmer has called for a fresh start in relations with China during a 4-day visit to Beijing, the first by a UK leader in 8 years. Meeting President Xi Jinping at the Great Hall of the People, Starmer said he wanted to build a sophisticated relationship that boosts the British economy while allowing dialogue on areas of disagreement, including human rights and security concerns. The talks come as Western nations face global barriers amid uncertainty in U.S. foreign policy under President Donald Trump. Summer, accompanied by more than 50 business leaders, aims to improve trade ties, including progress on reducing Chinese tariffs on British whiskey and possible visa waivers for UK citizens. She said China was ready to develop a long-term partnership with Britain after years of strained ties. Starmer also announced cooperation on tackling migrant smuggling gangs, as said relations with Beijing were now in a strong place despite criticism from UK opposition figures. This is the end of our international news. This is Marga Gasabo Television.
As we come to the end of our news edition, let's remind you of the top stories that we talked about. Rwanda to host 20th National Dialogue Conference. Rwanda-Pakistan Open Coffee Expo to boost trade and economic cooperation. On the international news, heavy gunfire erupts near Niger's capital's airport. And this marks the end of today's news edition. Stay tuned.